Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas, and today I am continuing my countdown of my 100 favorite albums of all time. And today I'm covering album number 82 on my list, which is an album from the band Oasis called Be Here Now, which came out in 1997. It's a third studio album. Second one was What's the Story, Morning Glory, which was a really popular album. It came out in '95, and this is their follow-up of that really popular album, which just had, I think, a 25-year anniversary of the last album. So they were really at the height of their career at this time of popularity, as you'll see. There's 12 songs on the album. The only song I really was aware of when I was listening to this recently was "Don't Go Away." Was a song that was on the radio a lot. I remember listening to that a lot on the radio in the late '90s. I think it was a very popular song from this album that I know of. The band members of Oasis, if you don't know, you got the Gallagher brothers, mostly known, kind of the two main leads of the band, Liam and Noel Gallagher. Liam is the lead singer, basically. He does most of the lead singing. Noel Gallagher is the lead guitar player, also does some lead singing and, of course, backing vocals for the band. Then you have Paula Arthurs on guitar, Paul McGuigan on bass, and Alan White on drums is the band. Everybody knows the Gallagher brothers. If you know Oasis, they're kind of well known for being these two brothers that don't get along, constant fighting. The band's broken up so many times. I don't think they're together today. Have made an album for a while, and this is kind of the last, I think, really good album they kind of came out with before they really went downhill in fighting. And in fact, when they were making this album, there was a lot of fighting going on, and when they were touring and going out and talking about the album, famously there was a incident where Liam Gallagher, they were doing a show and Liam Gallagher decided not to show up, and Noel Gallagher had to basically do all the leads, and Liam showed up in the audience and heckled the band as they were playing, and they're fighting, two Gallagher brothers fighting while Oasis is playing. I mean, it's a very, obviously showing how toxic that relationship was between the two brothers and in the band. But coming to this album, Be Here Now, it's, I would say, very popular album at the time. I think it's a lot because of What Story, Morning Glory was so good, and it was so popular when it came out. It's kind of considered their best work. Everybody was really anticipating this album when it came out. So it went number 2 in the U.S. charts, number 1 in the U.K. charts, number 1 in the Canadian charts. So did really well in the charts. I mean, 112. Everybody wanted to see this album. Critically, it's not considered, from our research, it's not considered a critically favored album. The critics don't really like this album that much. Looking at it now, in the past, it felt like it was overproduced. A lot of songs are pretty long. There's a lot of 7-minute songs, mostly because Noel Gallagher is throwing in a lot of different sounds in there, different instruments, kind of adding a lot of layers on each song. Something he was doing on What's the Story, Morning Glory, he was doing even more on this album. I should say, every song was written by Noel Gallagher, who I believe is the older brother of the Gallagher brothers. So Noel is really I feel like the leader of the band, really the brains of the band. Wrote the songs, obviously did a lot of the guitar playing and singing and all that. So he really into producing a lot when he was making this album, and like I said, putting all these different musical instruments and sounds in there that probably weren't needed, but I guess he felt like that was kind of the sound they wanted, or he wanted, kind of more layered. Anyway, so it was very criticized for that. It's not considered one of their, really great album. Like I said, I'm probably the only one that has this on my top 100 list. I don't think most people wouldn't put this on their list. But I mean, I disagree. I think I like all the sounds that they put in there. I like the layers of sound. I actually kind of enjoyed each song, and Uh, Oasis is just one of those bands that I've uh, just really love their sound. They have a really solid rock sound. I think probably the best band of the '90s in my opinion. Um, Great rock vocals. Liam Gallagher, such a great singer, I think. One of my favorites, and the guitar playing is great. Good melodies, catchy choruses, all the things I like in a band or in an album. I think it's very solid all around. Um, Certified U.S. Platinum, UK 7 times Platinum. UK, it was huge. I mean, uh, it was the fastest selling album in British chart history. I mean, can you imagine that? You know, all the big bands that came out of UK, this was the fastest selling in history. I think because of all the, like I said, anticipation of this album, because the last album was so well received. Everybody was wanting, a lot of people were saying this was like the next Beatles. In fact, I remember at the time they were comparing Oasis to the Beatles. They thought of course, they don't come nowhere close to the Beatles. Obviously, they kind of broke down a lot faster, as I've said, but extremely popular in the UK, evidently. I thought they were popular in the US. Of course, I'm an American, so I was a big fan, but even bigger, of course, in their home country. And Canada was 2 times Platinum, so it's even bigger in Canada than the US. The US, for some reason, wasn't as big, even though it did okay, did decent. There's 4 singles coming off this album. First one is Do You Know What I Mean, which went #1 in the UK, but only number 49 in the US, also 28 in Canada. So, like I said, it went #1 in the UK, very popular. Stand By Me, their second one, went #2 in the UK. I didn't see it chart anywhere else. All Around the World, their third single, went #1 in the UK, #20 in Canada. Didn't see it in the US. And then the fourth one, Don't Go Away, which is a song I said is a song I really only knew from this album that I can recall played on the radio quite often. Only went number 35 in the US and 15 in Canada. The single didn't even go out in the UK, actually. They, for some reason, only put the single out in the United States and Canada, but it never went. I'm sure it would have went #1 if it went out to the UK. So it didn't do quite as well, only 35 in the US. So the chart in the US isn't great necessarily, or didn't even chart some of these songs, but UK, the 3 singles are 1, 1, 2. So, like I said, did very, very well in the UK. The only other trivia I thought was interesting when I was researching this album is Johnny Depp plays slide guitar on Fade In Out, one of the songs on here. So that's kind of cool. They got Johnny Depp to come in, play some slide guitar, which I didn't know he played slide guitar. So that kind of shows how popular they were after I said What Story Morning Glory. They were obviously hobnobbing with Hollywood people and other famous people. So I thought that was interesting. In this with going with my top 3 songs on this album. Number 3, I'm going with Do You Know What I Mean, which is the opening title song, or opening song of the album. Very good opener. Just a really solid rock song, very catchy. It's like I said, I just love their sound on this. Like I said, it was one of their hit singles on here. Number 2 is Stand By Me, which I thought was kind of the song. I really, really like the song. This almost could have been #1 for me. It's such a catchy song. The chorus is so good. I enjoy singing along with this one. I don't remember on the radio, but I wouldn't be. Maybe it was on the radio. I just don't remember because it would seem like a really good hit song of theirs. Like I said, it went #1 in the UK. Maybe it didn't come out as a single in the US, but yeah, really solid song. Definitely check that one out. Stand By Me. And the #1, as I've talked about, Don't Go Away, is a song that I listen to a lot on the radio, and it's one of my favorite Oasis songs. It's like top 5. If I had to make a top 10 Oasis songs, this would be probably my top 5 favorite songs. This is a song that I bought on iTunes back in the day when I first discovered iTunes and had an iPod. This was a song I bought on iTunes and listened to it quite often. Again, just great chorus. Love the chorus of the song, and yeah, just a really solid, great melody. A song that's just so fun to listen to over and over again, in my opinion. So yeah, Don't Go Away, I think, is the best song on this album. And like I said, this is number 82 on my list. Very solid album, and maybe I'm just thinking about when I was listening to music in the 90s. I was a big Oasis fan, one of my favorite bands at that time. So that's why this is probably, higher on my list than anybody else's list. But I still think it's a solid album if you like the 90s rock music. This is a good album, I think. Not as good as What's the Story, Morning Glory, album that'll come up much later on my list, but still I think a very solid album for Oasis. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll continue doing some more on my top 100 lists, coming up to almost 20 on this list. And just thank you for subscribing and liking, and I appreciate all of you.